both appreciate each other very much and both cooperate in actually working for the betterment of the country. And I think if this kind of partnership between people grows and develops,
Yes.
without extraneous factors getting involved, but the object is development, then I think the world and the country would be a much better place.
Well said. Thank you so much for being on our show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
from
very
our
much.
crew, Second Home India.
Thank
And
you.
we wish to see you again soon. We are in conversation with the Honorary Secretary of the Indian Business Professional Council. Allow me to introduce you to him. Welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you very much, Amina.
Anant Kapadia ji, my first question to you is about the Indian Business Professional Council. If I'm not mistaken, the name used to be Indian Business Council and then professional was added. What was the intent behind adding this and changing, transforming this council?
I have to give you a little background on this. Earlier it used to be Indian Business Council, and Indian Business Council was formed 14 years ago. Over a period of time, we realized that we were restricting the membership only to certain number of people because they were not business people.
Right.
They were in other professions, but they were not businessmen. So they would hesitate to join the Indian Business Council, saying that we are professionals, we are not business people.
Right.
But we need people from all kinds of professions to be able to contribute to Indian Business Council's activities and give some input to their experiences of life in business and professions. And they go hand in hand. So we decided last year to have professionals also as members from various walks of life, be it automotive trading, be it engineering, be it oil and field, any kind of profession, chartered accountants, doctors, engineers. So we started enrolling them, and the strength has become almost 60% more than before.
Wow.
And more people are planning to come and join us
Right.
for our activities.
Right. Which brings us to today's event, bringing the chairman of Maruti Suzuki. It's a huge thing. Tell us what brought about that. What did you think of this?
Well, since the time I have been actively involved in the IBPC activities, I keep planning at least 6 months ahead of the event,
Right.
because getting to say yes from people like Mr. Bhargava or Mr. Godrej or Mr. Narayan Murthy, it's not easy.
I'm sure.
And they don't come for a fee. They come just because they have been invited. And to convince them that it's the right place to come and address the gathering takes a little effort from my side
Of course.
and perseverance. Many times I find these people are very busy, so they keep dodging the request. But then if you persevere hard, finally they accept. And this is what happens. I tried Mr. Bhargava. I started corresponding with Mr. Bhargava almost 7 months ago. And he was not giving me a clearance that he would be here. But then I kept on, if I may use the word, bugging. He accepted it. And then he is here.
Yes.
And I'm very proud that he is here.
I'm sure we can trust you to find a way. If you've thought of something, I'm sure you'll bring it to fruition.
And they do their own due diligence and finding out who is organizing, how it is going to be like, what was the previous experience of the previous speakers. They do all that due diligence and then accept your invitation.
Oh.
So I'm proud that I meet their standards as an organizer. And the reason why we do, if I have to add to that, is this place has a lot of professionals from India, Europe, Pakistan, wherever you call.
Yes.
And they would like to attend and interact with people who have such huge experiences of life in business or in profession or in manufacturing.
Right.
So when we bring people like Mr. Bhargava, they share their experiences, and every sentence of what they say is
Right.
counted,
Right.
because everything has value to it.
Absolutely.
And we end up going from here fully satisfied as to we have learned something new today.
Yes.
And each person who comes here has some of the experiences which other doesn't have.
Right.
And we as listeners get to know so much
Yes.
about the industry. Plus, in a way, when they come here, they are projecting India here.
Yeah.
They are the representatives of India in
True.
a big way.
A big way.
You know,
Huge. Yeah.
big way. So when we have the audiences, which forms from Indians to other nationalities, today you will have Kuwaitis, you have Europeans and other Arab country people. They'll all enjoy it, and they're
Right.
looking forward to it.
Speaking of looking forward to, what should Kuwait be looking forward to next from IBPC?
Well, I have been, in addition to the lectures and the speeches, I also organize classical music concerts from
Right.
India.
Yes. I know about
And
that.
we have lined up a few
Oh,
for
wow.
for the next year. And I have been talking to Mr. Shashi Tharoor. If he accepts it, it will be in the month of March. And then we have the chairman of Larsen and Toubro.
Okay.
There are, these are all people who can be said who is who of India
Yes.
and their industry. They have started from scratch and they have become someone in life.
Yeah.
And
People
they have
we can
grown.
look
The
up to.
industry
Yeah.
is so big. You must be knowing that Maruti sells 47% of the automobiles in India
Yes.
on the road.
I read.
From nothing to 47% of the market share. So imagine the kind of person he is, Mr. Bhargava is, who could bring this company to that level.
True.
So I'm sure all of us will learn something new today from him.
I'm sure.
And India is progressing, India is opening up. The Prime Minister is trying his best to open up the country to all kinds of investors.
It's true.
So Mr. Bhargava should help in that line as well.
Well, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for talking to Second Home India. And I hope to see you someday soon.
Thanks, Amina. You have been kind. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are in conversation with the chairman of the Indian Business Professional Council, Mr. Tony Jeshenman. Welcome to our show, Second Home India.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Could you tell us a little bit about the Indian Business Professional Council? When was it established and what was the intent?
The Indian Business Council was established over 20 years ago. This was actually after the liberation of Kuwait. And in a way, many of the people who are members and who are on the council are people who were in Kuwait and have been in Kuwait for a very long time. Many of them actually far before the invasion. Therefore, one of the things of getting together, first of all, was actually bounding again together to pick up the pieces, not only of society in general, but also for the Indians and the Indian community here.
Right.
And the Indian businesses have always been the leaders here. So it was for two things. One, to help the communication between business people, but on the other hand, also to see if the community needed any help in re-establishing itself here in Kuwait.
Right. I thought that was a great purpose behind establishing it, but this isn't what you do full time. You also do something else, and then you have this as. How do you find the time, and how do you make the time?
Well, unlike many other councils around the world, we do not have any permanent employees or members in the business council. All the members that are there as members or as committees are all people who have their own businesses or have their own professions. We have a lot of professionals here in Kuwait also. The business council started as just the business council. So this was an amalgamation of business people. But when we saw Kuwait developing again, there are lots of new businesses starting, very big businesses starting, where you can say even professionals are running businesses.
Right.
And other professionals who have important positions in a lot of the big companies or establishments or government offices here in Kuwait.
Right.
So it's become a very diversified thing, because we feel that these are people who have good influential positions in Kuwait,
Right.
and they are therefore not only a help for businesses but also for the community in general.
Right. You mentioned a lot of people have been in Kuwait for a long time. If I may ask, how long have you been in Kuwait?
Well, I have been here as long as I can remember.
Wow.
And why? Because I was born here. So I was born here, and that's in 1947. So nearly 70 years ago.
Right.
And we have several others here in Kuwait who have been born here. Maybe not all of them as long as I have been, but Kuwait is full of still old Indian families who have had their children, grandchildren also born over here.
Yes,
So Kuwait has a long standing of families who have stayed here a long time, over generations. And the reason why it's over generations, because they had established businesses and therefore had businesses into which their children also came in.
True. Kuwait has been a nurturing ground for a lot of us Indians. Kuwait is watching you right now. Is there any message you'd like to give to your viewers?
Well, to our viewers, it is that the Indian society has been here for a long time. Indian society feels very much a part, or is an integral part of the society here, because they are in so many professions and so many important positions and otherwise. The Indians are generally peaceful and therefore are good workers and good hard-working families. So the idea is, it is easy therefore to integrate and to be a part of it. And it's not only, no side is ever a giving side only or a taking side. What we try to encourage and what we try to do to our society members is always to be an integral part, to see themselves as not only earning here, but also what they can give back to society,
Right.
not only for their own earning, but as much as possible for other things that they can be involved in.
Great message. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure, and wish you the best of luck. You too, and to Kuwait TV. Okay, thank you very much.
brings us to the end of the program. From the entire team of Second Home India, we wish you the very best and thanks for watching.